Hello, everyone. Today I'll be talking about combating racism in higher education. Today we are living in very difficult times, and the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, they are kind of sparking this ongoing debate that has been happening for years and years. And now it's like the floodgates are open. So now everyone is paying attention to everything that's happening around. And higher education is one of those things that are kind of like being exposed of the things that are happening that people are starting to pay attention to. So, what to expect in my presentation is I'm going to talk about the history of higher education, some of the issues of concerns, the impact and who it affects, the strategies that could probably help combat racism on campus or in higher education. They kind of make it a better place where everyone is feeling included. So, the colonial period, this was a time when many blacks they were trying to fight for their rights of citizenship and also to be protected by the government, because we all read the stories, we all watched the movies, the lynching, the hangings, because people didn't want to be in a world with black people because they were always viewed as less than. And then World War II happened. So when all the veterans started coming home and the GI Bill was implemented, there were a lot of people left behind. And those people being black and brown people. They didn't get the same college tuition waivers that whites did. And they didn't have the funds because they were not set up economically to pay to go to college. So a lot of them didn't go. And for those that did go, if they wanted to attend a university, only a very small number of them were accepted into these institutions. And when they did go there, they were separated. I put this picture on there because you can see how classes were set up. And if you were this person sitting in the corner, not really being paid attention to, how would you feel in that type of environment, right? So then you have the civil rights movement because blacks wanted the same rights, wanted to be treated the same. They didn't want anything extra. They just wanted everything to be equal. So with that legislation came Title VI. And Title VI states, no person in the United States on the grounds of race, color, or national origin will be excluded or denied benefits under a program or institution that receives federal funding. And I'm so glad they passed that legislation because it allows someone like myself to go into a college and to not be treated any different, to not be treated less than, but to obtain the same education, the same knowledge, be treated the same, so I can advance my career into the things that I would like to do. Some of the issues of concerns, as crazy as it is, even with Title VI, there are still equity gaps. Some students are not provided the same opportunities. Look at low income homes of black people or low economic parts of this country. Those black students, those black and brown students, they're not afforded the same opportunities. And it's cliche to say, but unless you run fast, you jump high, you got a nice jump shot, or you can run the football, those are the only opportunities that would get some of these people in these economic strengths into college, a respectable college. And even when they're there, and those who use their brain power to get there, you still have to deal with racial harassment on campus, whether it's from other students, whether it's from campus police who feels like they're quote unquote suspicious, or if they're just going about their day outside of campus and not been given the same opportunities as it was. And then some of these universities, they have a lack, if I could talk, of black professors. These professors are needed. this is going to create change and equality. I want to go to a campus where I see someone who's giving me the knowledge that I need that looks like me, because they will only understand what I'm going through. Say I do come into contact with someone who's racially profiling me. I can't go talk to my white professor about it. He may be sympathetic or empathetic about what I'm feeling, but he will never understand, or she will never understand what it feels like to be Black in America. And then another thing is isolated racial events. Some universities, instead of changing the structure or the things that perpetrate racism on their campuses, they just focus on that one isolated event. They take it to the board amongst the student affairs. They talk about it. They discipline the student, and then you never hear about it. But then months later, or years later, or the next incoming students, someone else finishes. So the ongoing process is never solved because we're only focusing on that one event instead of fixing it as a whole. And I'll talk about that later. Who does it impact? It impacts the students. Put yourself in a black student's place at this moment. They have to worry about feeling included in everything, because no one wants to feel like the outcast, the outsider. Their level of comfortability is not where it's supposed to be, because it's like walking on eggshells. Like, I'm just gonna beeline it to the classroom, beeline it back to my dorm. That's all I want to do, because you have the potential of not creating an environment that's welcoming. Then you got to think of their mental stability. A lot of these students, especially the ones, I'm not saying, but there are reports of those that have been harassed or been put hands on by people who are supposed to serve and protect them. You got to think about their mental state. Like, that affects them. And then they eventually stop pursuing their education because of that. So it's like a domino effect. The profession as a whole, student affairs, we're here to create this environment and create events and these support services and this whole support system in order to get you to your ultimate goal. And that is to grow and develop you to be not only a great student, but also a great individual when you leave the institution. So minority students, they'll have a lack of participation in services or events because they'll feel like, hey, nobody on this campus cares about me, so why would I go to any event? Why would I go to a resume lecture? Or why would I go to an event talking about, other cultures? You don't even care about my culture, And then there's a lack of training in the department. I haven't had any form of training as it relates to other cultures and how to deal with the sensitivity of issues when you feel like someone is feeling mistreated or misguided in any way. And that can also affect the funding for the department. People may not, if nothing is reported, if nothing is being done at the level that it needs to be done, then universities, hey, they start cutting budgets for things they don't need. And it also affects the institution. You'll have low enrollment rates as it relates to Black people. You have the potential, if things are not handled properly, if situations are not, dealt with where someone feels comfortable enough, there's a potential for lawsuits. And it also hurts your reputation as an institution, because one thing that I've learned, when something is done wrong, that news travels 5 times faster than good news. So that really hurts your reputation. And also, violating Title VI in any way, it will hurt your federal funding. You will be penalized for that. So some of the strategies, that I think will help, if we're sitting in student affairs and we're trying to figure out how are we going to talk about it? Well, we have to start the difficult dialogue. As uncomfortable as it is, and sometimes you may not want to hear, the things that are happening on your campus. For instance, in another class, I did a project and I had to sit through and watch a faculty senate meeting, and I had to observe and give my take on it. And the mere issue of racism made everybody uncomfortable. But it's a discussion that needs to be had. A lot of people wanted to shut it down. They just wanted to give a statement and say, hey, we're not that university. We're not that type of faculty. But then they wanted to jump to the next subject. So there was not a really true conversation about it. And one thing that I've always been taught is you have to admit that there's a problem before we can resolve the problem. So acknowledging that, hey, we know that sometimes you guys are judged by the color of your skin. Sometimes we know that you guys are mistreated. Sometimes you're a criminal just for walking outside just because you're Black. You have to acknowledge those things. That's the first step to recovery, right? Any addict will tell you that. So then after that, we have to create an effective strategic diversity and inclusion plan. So instead of dealing with one isolated event and discipline that student, let's ensure that this never happens again. So let's create a plan where we know that diversity is accepted, mistreatment of anyone will be unacceptable in all levels. And then let's develop a task force or committee that includes your students, the administration, the staff, and the faculty. Because in order to combat racism, everyone has to be included. And as a whole and as a group, then we can solve that issue. Thank you very much.